He wasn't the best fighter, but some will say he's the most clever. His Jolly Roger has become the symbol of pirates everywhere. He got his name because of the clothes that he wore, and some say he was the inspiration for one Jack Sparrow. Today on History of Pirates, we're talking Calico Jack. John Calico Jack Rackham was born in England December 26, 1682, and there are no records about his early life. His name first appears as a crew member of the pirate ship called the Ranger in 1718, where he served as quartermaster under the captain Charles Vane. As quartermaster, Jack was second in command of the ship, making sure the crew followed orders that were given by the captain. He also would give counsel anytime it was needed. At the time, Charles Vane was known as one of the most cruel pirates in the Caribbean. Now, around the same time, England was thinking of ways on how they could rid themselves of pirates. They came up with a plan. They were going to offer the pirates pardons and just say, listen, if you end your pirate career, we'll give you a pardon and you can go retire or do something else. So they sent Woodes Roberts to Nassau to become the new governor, and in July 1718, he offered royal pardons to pirates. But Jack Rackham and Captain Vane refused. Even though the mounting pressure to take a royal pardon was upon them, something was about to happen that would change Calico Jack forever. In November 1718, Captain Charles Vane came upon a well-armed French frigate in the Windward Passage between Cuba and Hispaniola. Jack Rackham and the crew wanted to attack. Charles Vane decided to run. This made the majority of his crew angry. They charged Captain Charles Vane with cowardice and made Jack Rackham their new captain. Jack Rackham was known for his flamboyant, brightly colored clothing, and he preferred the calico cotton from India, giving him the nickname Calico Jack. And more than likely, you have seen this symbol, the skull with the two swords. This has become a symbol for pirates and pirate history. This was the Jolly Roger that Calico Jack flew. Captain Calico Jack continued on with his pirate runs, mostly towards smaller merchants and transport vessels. But then he managed to grab the biggest prize of his career, a large Jamaican vessel known as the Kingston. He fought and captured this vessel with skill, but unfortunately, the battle happened within sight of Port Royal Harbor, in view of many government officials. Outraged, the town joined the Spanish pirate hunting ship to capture and punish Captain Calico Jack. Now, the events that followed here have been disputed by many historians on how they were to escape, but I'll let one of his crew tell you this tale.
Rackham and his men were at a town in Cuba, refitting their small sloop, when a Spanish warship charged with patrolling the Cuban coast entered the harbour, along with a small English sloop they had captured. The Spanish warship saw the pirates, but could not reach them at low tide. So they parked at the harbour entrance to wait for morning. That night, Rackham and his men rowed over to the captured English sloop and overpowered the Spanish guards. As dawn broke, the warship began blasting Rackham's old ship, now empty, as Rackham and his men silently sailed past in their new prize. Calico Jack outsmarted them again.
After that escape, Jack Rackham and his men made their way back to Nassau, where they appeared before Governor Rogers. Now, Rackham knew that Rogers hated Charles Vane, so he told the governor, "It was Charles Vane that forced us to become pirates. Governor Rogers believed them and allowed them to accept the pardon and to stay. During his stay in Nassau, Jack Rackham fell in love with Anne Bonny. The only problem was she was already married to a sailor named James Bonny, who was under the employment of Governor Rogers. After the discovery of the affair, James Bonny pleaded with the governor to have his wife whipped publicly. Jack Rackham tried to intervene by offering a large sum of money to divorce Anne Bonny legally, but there was no peaceful solution found. So Jack Rackham then returned to piracy when he and Anne left the Bahamas in August 1719 in the William, a 12-ton single-mast sloop they had captured in the port of New Providence. The William had 4 large cannons, 2 small swivel cannons, and plenty of ammunition. And on September 5th, Governor Rogers issued a warrant for the arrest of Calico Jack. Now, right before Calico Jack re-entered piracy, Anne Bonny became pregnant, and she went to Cuba to have Jack's child, where some historians say she later abandoned. There she met Mary Read, an Englishwoman who has spent most of her life as a pirate. Now, other historians have said Mary Read did not become part of the crew until her merchant was captured by Jack Rackham's ship. Either way, these 2 women had a reputation of being ruthless. They fought alongside the men and never wanted to take prisoners. In fact, it was the women who wanted to kill everyone on the ships so that no one could testify against them. In late October of 1720, Captain Jonathan Barnett cornered Calico Jack and his men, and after exchanging cannon fire, Rackham's ship was disabled. Now, according to some historians, the men hid below deck while Bonny and Read stayed above and fought. Jack Rackham and his whole crew were captured and sent to Spanish Town, Jamaica for trial. The men were swiftly tried and found guilty. They were hanged in Port Royal on November 18th, 1720. Jack Rackham was just 37 years old. Anne Bonny was reportedly allowed to see Rackham one last time, and she said to him, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you had fought like a man, you need not have hanged like a dog." Bonny and Read were spared the noose because they were both pregnant. Read died in prison shortly after. But no one really knows what happened to Anne Bonny. Calico Jack Rackham wasn't the greatest pirate. In fact, he was mostly remembered for his association with Anne Bonny and Mary Read. He did leave us with one of the most famous symbols in all of pirate history, his Jolly Roger. Thank you for watching, and do us a favor by leaving a like and a comment. And if you're not subscribed, why not? Join us next time for another episode of History of Pirates.